that I have a sincere and great deal of fondness for. Former Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate or in the presidency, Herman Cain, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that acknowledgement has already been given to Congressman Linder for writing the FairTax bill, but I want us to one more time acknowledge my Uncle Neil for taking it to a new level. Uncle Neil. And when I started substituting for Neil Boortz and I started calling him Uncle Neil, I actually had someone call and say, "How can he be your uncle?" And my response was, "We have the same color eyes. It's real easy." My job tonight is to dispel a myth. And the myth that must be dispelled is that we cannot do this. Our founding fathers set the example when they said, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and ownership." Ownership. Because if you do not own your time, your talent, and your treasure, how can you pursue happiness? And the answer is you cannot.
You're going to get 3 shots.
The liberals and the bureaucrats and the political class in this nation are robbing us of our time, our talent, and our treasure, and the biggest weapon that they use to rob us is the tax code, which we must get rid of. And the myth that we cannot do this is just that. Remember our founding fathers? Do you think they had a majority who said, "Let's fight the British"? I don't think so. It took a few passionate believers that made this nation come into being. When John F. Kennedy became president of the United States of America in 1960, he said by the end of the decade of the 60s, we will walk on the moon. He didn't say we might. He didn't say let's take a poll. He said we will. And it was his belief in that goal and that objective that allowed this nation to become mobilized in order to walk on the moon. When Ronald Reagan said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall," he believed it, and we did. And although there are a few naysayers in this nation who don't get it yet, we are winning the war on terror because we believe in our men and women in uniform. And we are winning because we believe in our men and women in uniform. But the last time I checked, USA stands for United States of America. It does not stand for under special assumptions like some people will have us to believe. And so my message to you tonight is real simple, folks. We the people are still in charge of this country. We the people, everybody in this room, are the ones that are going to cause our elected representatives, all of them, to do what we the people want. We the people founded this nation. And anytime anything great has happened in the history of this country, it has been because we the people, not we the gullible, stood up for what we believed in and demanded change. My grandfather was a farmer. My grandfather owned a very small dirt farm right here in the state of Georgia. And I'll never forget one time when I was visiting my grandparents on their small farm as a little boy. And my grandfather had to take a load of potatoes into town. And when he loaded up the wagon and all of the kids were running around in the yard, and grandfather yelled out to all of the kids, it must have been about 20 or 30 of us running around in the yard. Granddad looked around and he said, "Them that's going, get on the wagon. Them that ain't, get out of the way." My grandfather would then take that wagon load of potatoes into town to the market. And he didn't take the straight and easy road where the wagon tracks had smoothed out over the years. Granddad would take the wagon through the rough roads to town. He would hit as many ditches, many rocks, and many hills as he could. And I often wondered, why didn't my grandfather go straight down the road where we wouldn't have so many bumps? And when we got into town, I discovered why. When we got to the farmer's market, I discovered that all of the big potatoes had risen to the top of the wagon. And all of the little potatoes were on the bottom. You are the big potatoes of America. We know it's going to be rough, but it's the rough road that separates the little potatoes from the big potatoes. And to all of the naysayers, and to all of the bureaucrats, and to all of those that would like to destroy the future of the greatest country in the world, our message to them is the same as my grandfather's. Them that's going, get on the wagon. Them that ain't, get out of the way. Thank you. Thank you.
You are so amazing.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that special? I've known Herman for about a dozen years or 10 years, and he gets better every year.